Okay, so many people are asking me for tutorials using my little Addy machine that I figured I'd start with an easy one. So I'm going to make this draft dodger. Well, anyway, that's what Mom used to call it. Excuse me. You put this at the bottom of the drawer or door so that it catches the breezes. I'm still working on the stuffing, but here's the main idea of it. So I used Loops and Threads. It's a medium 4. I love Loops and Threads. This is my favorite yarn. If I can, I will use it for everything that I can. So the color here is mustard. I found it somewhere. Anyway, the color's mustard. It's 354 yards, and this is what I have left after making this draft guard. So there's the color mustard. So yeah, here we go. I'm going to try a tutorial and we'll see how this works out. Giddy up, here we go. Okay, so I'm absolutely in love with this little Addy machine. And its counter, set that back to 0. So I'm going to make a draft dodger, is what my mom used to call it anyway. It's something to catch the drafts under the door. One of my subscribers had the great idea. And so here we go. So you cast on like normal, making sure you're front, back, front, back, front, back. Okay. Once you get back around to the first black needle, this is a great feature. Then I set it back to 0. All right, here we go. Very, very important thing I learned. There's supposed to be a tension guard here, but I would prefer I do it this way instead. So you can also buy the adapter for your drill, your power drill. But right now I'm enjoying this little machine so much that I don't need the power drill. So I'm just gonna keep going here until I get the length of just a standard door. And then I will let you know how many rows that is and then the next step. So stay tuned. Okay, so I've gotten to 48 rows here. See if you can see that. Sorry if you see my feet. But you've gotten to 48 rows here and you can see that this is starting to touch the table. So what I do is I just kind of pull it up a little bit and tuck it back in, and it gives me the room underneath there that I need. So about every 50 rows, I tuck it up so that it doesn't mess with the tension on here and it doesn't twist up too much underneath. All right, here we go, back at it. Okay, so I've gotten up to 202 rows and I've measured this. It's going to be approximately 36 inches. Make sure you can see that. So I'm good with this. Side note, this is a lot of rows for this to tolerate because you got to keep rolling it up and tucking it in there. So I'm working on a better process for it instead of rolling it up and tucking it in there. So if anybody has any tips or tricks on that one, let me know. So, okay, here we are at the end of about 35, 36 inches, okay? And I clipped off the yarn. And now I need to take it off of the machine. So what I'm gonna do is tuck this right in there. So I opened the little slider and I took it off here. Make sure it doesn't slide off or it'll be a sad day. So I just give myself a length of yarn, a couple feet, Usually I do too much, but I'd rather do too much than too little. Okay, so to get this off of the machine, I found the easiest way is to just scoop it. Can you see me here? Yeah, okay. So you're gonna reach in and scoop. Reach in and scoop. Now you gotta be careful not to pull off the other ones until you're ready. Also make sure you're not catching your work. You know, it's one of those things where you like to go quick, 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 but you can't. Just take your time so that things don't get stitched in where they shouldn't or knotted where they shouldn't. And I say stitched in because the first time I tried this, I balled this up and it actually caught one of the stitches and stitched itself together. Needless to say, that was not the project that made the video cut. All right, so we're gonna take all these off. And you can get to the point where you can scoop a few at a time, but for right now, I'm just better safe than sorry. And I'm just doing one at a time. There's not that many little needles on here, so bear with me and we'll get, what is it, 25 of them, something like that. It's not that many, so I'll just talk you through each one of them. So I just scoop it, turn it and scoop it. Here we go, we're getting there. You can see the black needle here. That means we're getting back to the beginning. It's another good thing about this machine versus the other one that I used to have. I can't remember the name of it. It was an off-brand. And I got so frustrated with it, I actually just chucked it. But anyway, the Prime. Anyway, the difference is how well it comes off of here and the counter. This row counter is a game changer. Let me just tell you, game changer. Okay, so I have them all off and it's nicely tight. So we're not gonna lose any of the stitches and everything is held nicely together. So on to the next step. All right, so the next thing I wanna do is make sure the side that I want is actually the side that's facing out. So you go in, well, this would make a pretty sweater, wouldn't it? And turn it, what I call right side out. So now you have both ends. Since they're both secure, we're not gonna lose any stitches, okay? So be careful, try not to stretch it too much or you'll get like that, but we're gonna do this anyway to make sure it stays together. Okay, so I'm gonna tug this a little bit to tighten it, just so that, see how it's rolling out this way? I want it to roll in the other way. So I'm pulling it a little bit, not too much. Okay, just enough to where this end says, oh yeah, you want me to tuck in there? Alrighty then. Okay. So there's the one end and that's all ready to be secured. And as I said, I did way too much, but I can actually use that to sew it up. So I'm not that concerned with my extra tail on this one. Okay, so here we go. The sides line up nicely. This is a point where you grab your crochet hook and I'll show you how I do the ends. I've seen other people do them other ways and I struggled with the other ways. So what I'm going to do is I'm just gonna show you my way. Sorry, I was off camera there for a minute. So I'm gonna show you the way I do it. Okay, so now that we have this like this pulled in a little bit, not too much, a little bit. So what I wanna do is just tie a teeny tiny knot in this, okay? That way everybody's safe. Oops, sorry, hit the camera. Everybody's safe and secure. If you hear a weird noise, it's just my cat. How fun is that noise? Not creepy at all in the middle of the night. So that means he wants my attention, but he's not getting it. So anyway, so here we go. Little teeny tiny knot. Again, we'll be hiding that so it's not a problem. So you tuck the one side away and use the other side. So I'm just going in just like this is my working yarn on a crochet. Okay. And I'm going to draw it in, and row for row, I'm just going to bring in and I'm going to slip stitch each one of these, okay? Make sure you don't double do it. It's 1 for 1, okay? And it makes it a very pretty, nice and smooth. It makes it a really, what's the word I'm looking for? Seam. Boy, that was not a tough word, but it is 4 a.m., so who knows? Okay, so I'm coming to the end here. One more, make sure, like I said, 1 for 1. So it gets a little tight. I'll make sure you get right in there. Not too much. Don't get impatient like I do sometimes. And I'm like, I'll just stick it in there. No. Make sure you're still going 1 for 1, right where it needs to be. Pull it through. There's your final thing, and then we're knotting it off. So now you've got the little knot on this end and a little knot on that end and a lot of extra. So we can use that to sew a pretty end on it if we want. I'm not quite sure what I'm doing with the end yet. I might just give it ears and make it some sort of animal. But so that's where we are with that. Let's get to stuffing it. All right, so I've got the whole thing filled. Do you guys remember that cartoon, Cat Dog? Okay, anyway, I digress. Okay, so we've got it stuffed, and of course you can maneuver it around, get the lumpy bumps out. Keep working on it. Even after I'm done, I'll still be doing this a million times to try to make sure it's all consistent. So, okay, so what we want to do now, as I knock my phone off the other side of the table, is we want to close up this side. So we're going to do same idea as we did on the other side. Pull it a little bit. Just so it tips in, okay? Now once it tips in, you can go ahead and tug it back out a little bit to open it up. You just wanted to tug that to get this so it's not curling to the outside, okay? Again, this was a technique I kind of struggled with, but the more you work on it, the better you'll feel about it. So the very first one, I actually go in here and pull my yarn through. So I'm starting on the other side with the yarn, okay? So there it is. Now I'm gonna do exactly what I did on the other end. And it's gonna be loop for loop. Go in, pull it up. Stop fighting me, it's too early in the morning. There we go. Okay, so let's get all the distractions out of the way. It's so funny, this thing's stretching across the table. Okay, now as I go, just in case I didn't pull it in tight enough, I make sure that I line the stitches up and make sure it still looks pretty as I'm doing it, okay? So I take the outside strand and the outside strand, and I just keep going till I get the pretty seam. It's all about crafty and pretty, right? So here we go on this one. Again, a long enough string so that I can finish this up and then pull it through here. Now here we go. So here we have, and you could be done at this. You know, hide your tails, you could be done at this. But you can also turn it into cat dog. I don't think I will, but it would still be funny. So I'm gonna just go in, work out all the kinks so it doesn't look like a cat head. And there we go. I mean, it's as simple as this. We're gonna hide our tails. There's the needle. And again, once you're done hiding your tails, you can massage the stuffing and make sure it gets as smooth as you want it to. The good thing with this is, I mean, it's long enough, you can just hide your tail. It's already tied off, so it's not going anywhere. So you just literally go like right down in the middle, pull it out. And hide it. There you go. And again, work it. Work it till it's how you want it. Maybe my second one I'll make a cat. I just can't see anything but a cat right now on this. Isn't that awful? It's so funny though. Okay, so this is gonna work great. All right, so let's, again, I'm wasting some yarn, which makes me sad, but you know what? I will roll it up into a ball and use it as a ball on one of my yarn wreaths. So never wasting anything if I can help it. All right, so let's hide this tail. Again, it's tied off. So you're really just doing this for aesthetics. Is that what it's called? To make it pretty. Pull it through here. Careful when you snip it off, because how bad would it be if you actually snipped some of the knit? That would be very sad. That would make me extremely sad. All right, so hide this in here. Tug, tug, tug. And there we go. Again, just keep working till you get it how you want it. And here it is. Put it in front of the door and keep the cold air out. Hope you enjoyed it. If you do, please give me a like, give me a subscribe if you're not already subscribed. If you have any tips or tricks that you do that, you know, differently, that might make my life a little easier or anyone else's, please share in the comments. Yeah, and thank you for being creative with me today. Have a great day.